If you've been keeping up with wireless noise-canceling headphones over the past few years, you've probably seen Sony's 1000X series ranked near the top time and time again. Both the WH-1000XM4 and XM5 became go-to choices for their mix of sound quality, comfort, and cutting-edge features. Now Sony's back with the newest flagship in the lineup, the WH-1000XM6. They're calling it the best noise-canceling headphone on the market, and after spending some time with it, we think they might be onto something. Now let's dive in and find out what they're all about. What's interesting is that there's no radical redesign here. Sony clearly took feedback from the XM5 and made refinements instead of reinventing the wheel. That starts with something fans have been asking for since the XM5, the return of the folding hinge. Now the XM6 can fold inward again, just like the XM4, making it much more compact for travel. That change alone makes the new design feel a lot more portable and familiar to longtime Sony users. Now alongside that, the carrying case is now smaller and uses a magnetic latch instead of a zipper, which makes it quicker to open and close. It's a small detail, but it actually makes the case feel a little bit more premium, and it's so much easier to live with. Now inside that case, you'll find a 4-foot right-angle headphone cable and a USB-C to USB-A charging cable, both tucked neatly into a built-in pocket. The headphones also fold and tuck neatly right into the case. Now the build quality overall is still lightweight and sleek on these XM6. They come in around 254 grams, which is noticeably lighter than something like the AirPods Max, which tips the scales at 384 grams. The headband is a little bit wider and it's more padded than before, helping also to distribute pressure more evenly across the top of your head. Now the vegan leather ear pads are super soft, forming a pretty good seal without putting too much pressure on your ears or your head, and the ear cups rotate to lay flat when you're worn around your neck. Even the angle of the ear cups has been tweaked slightly so that they rest more comfortably on your collarbone. A small detail that again, we really liked. Styling remains clean and understated, and you've got two matte color options of black or platinum silver. Sony's using more recycled materials this time in the XM6, and while there's no official water resistance on these, everything feels really well made and tightly put together. On the control side, you get a mix of physical buttons and touch input. The right ear cup is still your touch surface for swiping volume, skipping tracks, and pausing or resuming playback. The left ear cup has your power button and a multifunction button for toggling between noise canceling and then ambient sound modes. The touch controls are also improved slightly from the XM5 that we found in our testing, and there just seem to be more precise volume adjustments and a little bit better response overall. And when you cover the right ear cup with your hand, you still activate that really cool quick attention mode, which temporarily drops your volume and lets outside noise in, which is just perfect for hearing announcements or talking to someone quickly without taking off your headphones. Now, under the hood of these headphones, the tech upgrades are pretty serious. Sony has introduced a new QN3 processor in the XM6, which is a huge leap over the QN1 chip in the XM5. It processes noise cancellation a lot faster and way more accurately, analyzing your surroundings in real time and then adjusting the ANC performance on the fly. The headphones use a total of 12 microphones now, up from 8 in the previous model, which also helps to improve both ANC and the voice pickup when you're speaking. The system also takes into account whether you're wearing glasses or a hat, or even if you're on an airplane, and then adjusts accordingly. It's all part of what Sony calls their adaptive NC optimizer, and the result is some of the most impressive noise canceling that we've actually ever heard. The call quality is also better thanks to a 6-mic beamforming setup that actually uses AI trained on over 500 million voice samples. That lets the XM6 isolate your voice even when there's some wind or background noise. In practice, we found that phone calls sounded a lot more clean and natural than the XM5, and the person on the other end will definitely hear you clearly without a bunch of ambient noise bleeding through. Now, Bluetooth has also been upgraded to version 5.3, and the XM6 is fully ready for LE audio and the LC3 codec. That means lower latency, better sound quality at lower bit rates, and support for things like Auracast broadcasting in the future. You still get the LDAC for high-res wireless audio and multi-point support for connecting two devices at once on these. So whether you're switching between a phone and a laptop or a tablet and a TV, the transition is just seamless with these. Another really welcome improvement that we found on these is the ability to charge and listen to them at the same time. On older models like the XM5, plugging in the USB-C cable would actually disable Bluetooth audio. Now you can just easily top up your battery while continuing to listen, which is great for long flights or a marathon workday. Now, battery life is rated at 30 hours with ANC or 40 hours with it off, and a 3-minute charge gives you around 3 hours of playback. We found these numbers to be pretty accurate in our testing. Now, sound quality is another area where Sony actually made some subtle but pretty meaningful changes. The XM6 uses newly designed 30mm drivers with a carbon fiber composite dome and an updated voice coil. The tuning is just more refined than the XM5. During our testing, we found that the bass was a little bit tighter and deeper, and mids just have a bit more body to them, and the highs were really detailed without getting harsh. Overall, it does feel like Sony struck a pretty good balance between fun and fidelity in the XM6s. The soundstage is a bit wider, instruments have more room to breathe, and the vocals were just slightly more forward and clear compared to the previous generations. Now that said, not everything is perfect with these. As with past models, the touchpad controls, they're a little bit inconsistent, especially when you're on the move or trying to make some quick adjustments. Personally, I really prefer tactile buttons, so I found myself occasionally missing the precision that a physical interface can offer, something like the Bowers & Wilkins headphones have, which I really love, especially when you're trying to adjust the volume or skip tracks when you're at the gym or moving. Now, it's also worth noting here that the ear cups do get a little warm during some extended use, especially in warmer environments or on long flights. It's not really a deal breaker, but something to keep in mind if you're particularly sensitive to heat or planning to wear them for hours on end. Now, if you're comparing side by side, the XM4s had pretty big bass, but they could sometimes sound a bit muffled in the mixes. The XM5 was a bit more clear, but we thought that sometimes it leaned slightly flat. Well, the XM6 we think gives you the best of both worlds with a warm and pretty clean sound. It's also very responsive to EQ tweaks. Sony's app now includes a 10-band EQ, which is twice the granularity of the previous models. You can create custom profiles or use one of the many presets, and there's even a new feature that I thought was really cool called Find Your EQ that actually walks you through building a sound profile based on your preferences. The Sony Sound Connect app, or formerly known as the Headphones Connect app, has also been refreshed, and it's really good. This is where you'll customize nearly everything like noise canceling levels, ambient sound settings, EQ, codec priority, and even some fun new features like head gestures. Yeah, you heard that. The XM6 can now detect when you nod your head yes to accept a call or shake it to decline it. I know it sounds a little bit gimmicky, but in practice it worked pretty good, and it was surprisingly useful when I had my hands full. Now, you'll also find scene-based listening automation, which builds on Sony's adaptive sound control. Not only can you adjust the headphones ANC based on whether you're walking or you're sitting still, they also automatically can adjust and launch a playlist or switch modes based on your location or your routine. So for example, let's say you set the XM6 to start your favorite Spotify mix and switch to ANC when you sit down at your desk in the morning. And then it will switch to ambient mode when it detects that you get up and go out for a walk. It's pretty cool. Now there's also new listening modes like cinema and background music. Cinema mode uses Sony's 360 reality audio upmix feature to turn stereo content into a spatial surround style presentation, which we thought worked pretty cool for movies and videos. Now the background music mode intentionally makes your music sound like it's playing from a speaker all the way across the room, kind of like you're sitting in a cafe. And with that background mode, you can choose between cafe, living room, and my room modes, which each simulate a different level of distance and acoustic space. We thought it was pretty cool if you're studying and you just want to have music in the background and not so much in your ears. Now, I know that these modes might not be something that you use all the time, but they do work pretty well, and they just show how much flexibility Sony has baked into the experience of these new XM6s. So we know a lot of people will want to know who should pick up these XM6s. Well, we think if you're a frequent traveler, this is probably one of the best all-around travel headphones on the market that we've ever tested right now for the price. The ANC is phenomenal, they're comfortable enough to wear for an entire flight, and the folding design makes them super easy to store in your bag. And remote workers will also love the upgraded call quality and the convenience features, especially with multi-point, mic mute, and all the app shortcuts. And if you're just a music lover who wants great sound without compromising on all these cool features, the XM6 really does give you a well-rounded, customizable experience that sounds great with just about any genre of music. So the next question is, if you already own the XM4s or XM5s, should you upgrade? Well, if you have the XM4, absolutely, it's time to upgrade. The improvements to the ANC, sound quality, comfort, and smart features are pretty significant. Now, if you have the XM5, it's a bit of a closer call. The sound is better, the ANC is slightly stronger, and the folding hinge is back, but the jump isn't massive unless you really need all those extra additions. Versus other brands like Bose or Apple, Sony still delivers more features and flexibility for the price. At $449 as of May 2025, these XM6, they aren't cheap, but they definitely earn their flagship status. They're more expensive than the previous model at launch, but when you compare them to all the other flagship models like I mentioned from Bose or even Sonos or Apple, the XM6 consistently offers just better features that we think, a little bit better sound, and better ANC. So this is a product that takes everything Sony learned from previous models and refines it to the point where it just feels nearly complete. It's not just about the spec sheet here, it's about how all these little details come together in day-to-day use, and we thought the result is one of the most satisfying do-it-all headphones that you can buy right now. Now let us know what you think about these new XM6s in the comments below and if you'll be picking them up. If you have any further questions about these or anything else, feel free to reach out to us at audioadvice.com and our experts would be happy to help. Now if you found this video helpful, please support us by giving it a thumbs up, hitting the subscribe button, and turning on the notifications so you don't miss out on any of your content. And if you're ready to pick these up, you can check them out at audioadvice.com where we offer free shipping, lifetime expert support, and a price guarantee. Now thanks for watching and we'll see you next time.